farm stretched wide beneath the endless blue sky, acres of wheat swaying in the breeze, a red barn standing proudly in the center of it all. To most people in town, it was just land, dust, sweat, and animals. But for Emma Jenkins, it was her entire world. Every morning, long before the school bus arrived, she was out feeding chickens, brushing horses, hauling hay bales heavier than her thin frame seemed capable of lifting. Her palms were rough, her shoulders strong, but her voice was soft and quiet. She didn't complain, she didn't boast, she simply worked. At school, that silence became her curse. Kids noticed the mud on her boots, the calluses on her hands, the faint smell of hay that clung to her shirt. They turned her into a joke. Farm girl, they called her, as if it were the worst thing someone could be. Chad Whitmore led the charge, always dressed sharp, sneakers spotless, hair perfectly styled. Jason and Tyler were his shadows, laughing at every cruel word he tossed Emma's way. They mocked her clothes, her chores, her quietness. Sometimes they'd even push her books to the ground in the hallway, daring her to fight back. But she never did. She just picked them up, head down, heart pounding, refusing to give them the satisfaction. What no one knew, what Emma made sure no one ever saw, was what happened in the barn at night. After chores, when her mother went inside to prepare supper and the farm settled into silence, Emma would slip into the barn. In one corner, where the dust collected and the wooden beams groaned with age, hung a worn punching bag. Her father had been a fighter once, years ago, before life pulled him back to the land. He still carried that discipline in his bones, and he passed it to Emma not through words, but through action. She remembered his voice clearly. Strength isn't about showing off, Emma, it's about control. A fighter who can't control themselves isn't strong, they're dangerous. You fight only when you must, and when you do, you make it count. So she trained. Her fists flew until her knuckles ached. Her kicks echoed off the barn walls. Sweat dripped down her face as she practiced again and again, each strike sharper, faster, stronger. The quiet farm girl everyone dismissed was, in truth, a storm waiting to break. But Emma kept her secret locked tight. Until the day Chad pushed too far. It was after school, on the dirt path that led past her family's barn. Chad and his friends were waiting. They knew she'd come this way, she always did. Jason leaned against the fence, smirking. Tyler chuckled under his breath. But Chad walked straight up to her, his jaw set, his eyes full of arrogance. "You think you're better than us, farm girl?" he sneered. "Walking around here with your head down like you're too good to even look at us." Emma said nothing. She shifted her bag on her shoulder and tried to step past. But Chad's hand shot out, gripping her overalls, pulling her back. His voice thundered in the open air. "One more touch, hospital bed." The words cut like a blade. Jason and Tyler laughed behind him, expecting Emma to shrink away, to look at the ground, to tremble like she always did. But Emma didn't move. She didn't flinch. Her blue shirt clung to her shoulders, her ponytail swayed in the breeze, and her eyes, steady, calm, unwavering, locked onto Chad's. That silence was heavier than his anger. Chad's grip tightened. He leaned closer, spitting venom in her face. "You hear me, farm girl? You're nothing, nothing." Emma's heart pounded, but it wasn't fear this time, it was fire. All the mornings of being mocked, all the afternoons of laughter echoing in hallways, all the years of being underestimated, pressed into this single moment. Slowly, deliberately, her hand shot up, gripping his wrist. Her fingers wrapped firm, unshakable. In one swift motion, she twisted, not recklessly, but with precision. Chad's face twisted in pain as his knees bent, his balance faltering. The laughter behind him died instantly. Jason's smirk vanished. Tyler's mouth fell open. Emma didn't hit him, she didn't kick. She only pushed him back, her eyes never leaving his. Her voice came low, calm, but sharp as steel. "I told you," she said. "One more touch, hospital bed." The words echoed across the barnyard. For a long, terrible second, nobody moved. Chad's face burned red, his pride bleeding faster than his wrist hurt. He looked at her, but for the first time, he couldn't find a comeback. He couldn't find a joke. The boy who laughed at everyone else, who fed on their fear, stood frozen before a girl who refused to break. Emma let go. She stepped back, steady, her boots planted firm on the dirt. She didn't need to raise her fists. She didn't need to prove anything more. Her silence, her control, her unshakable presence had already won. Jason and Tyler exchanged nervous glances. They weren't laughing now. They weren't mocking. They were seeing her for what she truly was, someone who had carried strength all along, hidden beneath quiet eyes and muddy boots. Chad stumbled, humiliated. He muttered something under his breath and stormed away, his shadows trailing after him, their pride cracked down the middle. Emma stood alone in front of the barn, the red paint blazing in the sunset, the tractor humming softly in the background. She exhaled slowly, letting the moment settle. Her father's words rang in her mind. Strength is control, fight only when you must. And she hadn't lashed out in anger, she hadn't humiliated them with violence, she had shown them enough to make them understand. From that day on, the whispers faded, the laughter stopped, the bullies looked away when she passed, and though she never sought their approval, she had earned something far greater, respect. Emma Jenkins, the quiet farm girl they mocked, had reminded them of a truth they would never forget. Never mistake silence for weakness. And never laugh at someone whose strength you cannot see.